What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Candid Convos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe on deck. We got Vince on deck. Say what's up to the people, Chloe.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Oh, man. Shout out to Wednesday. Shout out to Wednesday. Shout out to everybody joining us right now. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're checking in from. Also, while you're here, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that share button as well. Hit that share button as well. So we want to get this one out because I think this is going to be an interesting show tonight. So yeah, anybody watching us right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Likes are free. Hit that like button for us. Hit that like button and also share out the show. Share out the show. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So how you doing over there, Chloe? You all right today?
Yeah, I'm ready to get into this topic because I think it's gonna be interesting.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
All right.
Unlike typically, I have not. Well, I don't always watch the videos. I like to give my authentic reaction, although sometimes I see them. So I haven't seen any of. Well, I've seen one. I haven't seen all of the videos, so it should be interesting. You guys are getting a live reaction to whatever he shows us tonight. So all I know is that I've been hearing about it and people have been debating about it for the last couple of days. So it should be interesting.
Okay. All right. There it is. There it is. A little suspense. A little suspense. See, we got a couple viewers popping in already. Let's see, Kenyatta in the building. She said, "Good evening, happy Wednesday." What's going on with you, Kenyatta? Appreciate you joining us on this hump day. Shout out to my guy Donovan. He said, "Ooh la." Does that say ooh la? Hola, hola. Oh, got him. I got him. See, over here trying to be fancy over here with it.
Oh, okay.
He said, "And good evening." Shout out to Donovan in the building as well. All right. So let me do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. So for everybody who was watching, here is the panel links. This is how you join us on the panel, which I always encourage you to join us on the panel. Makes for a better show, better engagement. We also have this link posted in all of the chat feeds. So you can catch it on the Candid Combos page on Facebook, also on YouTube as well, which we are live. And as a backup, you can catch it on my page as well, or I can message it to you, however you want to go about it. But here's the link to join us on the panel, which I said we always encourage you to join us on the panel. So I'll leave this up for a little bit. All right. Let's see. I think Vince had to step away for a hot minute. So, man, should I go ahead and drop this title? Should we just go and get on into this? What you think?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
All right. So, topic for tonight. Men, this is your fault. Y'all in these topics, man. Let me run that back. Topic for the night. Men, this is your fault.
Yeah, share this one out because we can sometimes get the reputation of being a female bashing show, which we are not. So definitely share out this show because this is time for the ladies to weigh in, for the ladies to give their opinion. Ladies, you're always saying we don't talk about the men, we don't talk about the men. So we're going to talk about the men tonight, and let's just do a science experiment. Let's see if the ladies show up to talk about the men.
I don't know. I'm looking right now. And I'm noticing something. But I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna do that again.
We're not. It's okay.
But I'm noticing something. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this video. Let me see. Vince, you there? You have to walk away, man.
I'm still here, bro.
All right, you can see the video, can't you?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I don't want you missing. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off. So this video is I'm gonna call it what it is. I think it's going viral at this point. Controversial video. Like I said, I've got a snippet of it. It is a couple minutes, so bear with the video. Let's say we got to see at least a little bit of it in its entirety, but not the whole video. Well, I'm not going to have y'all just sitting here watching the video all day, but it is a couple minutes. So let's rock with it for a minute, then we're going to get into this conversation. So men, this is your fault.
Oh, you know, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is I'm strong, independent. I don't need no man, right? So,
That's pain speaking, though.
Right.
Because most black women know they will never get a man. A black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you know, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with black women. I mean, with white women.
With all women, you should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America,
Go
there's
somewhere
plenty
else.
in
Absolutely.
Africa. So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like, if
I do.
If you feel
I
like
tell sisters all the time go to Africa.
So
I know
then,
sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never
I'll
get
take
married,
sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think
there's
plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men
Yes,
for black
it is.
women. So
And what I
instead of
also
saying that
tell
they'll
black
never
women,
get
if
married,
you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated? It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be a man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that. And then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be
If we was loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
I'm not saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right, that still don't give me a right to disrespect her, because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she's not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
There's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources,
okay,
and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no.
Topic for the night. Man, this is your fault. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions. Well, you had to go get your fan for this one. That was all we doing.
I'm just,
I got a lot of questions about that video. So, okay, shout out to Dr. Umar. Shout out to, what is the name of that podcast? The Daily Wrap-Up Crew. Shout out to them over there on Instagram. Definitely go check them out. Let's say they got some good content out here. So definitely go check them out. So, yeah, this video went viral. I said some folks talking about this video right now as we speak on another live, going back and forth about this video. So this is Dr. Umar on here talking about the fact that, a lot of this stuff that's going wrong in our community is because of the men. And of course he gave us some points as to why he feels that way or why he, why he places the blame on the men. So, yeah, I wanted to have this conversation because I think there's some, Shantae in the building. She said, hey, y'all, came here to see who was all going to be here. You know how I go down, Shantae. You know how I go down. Let me know if I need to send you that link, Shantae. But yeah, I got some questions. I got some questions. Let's see. Shantae said, I agree with the young guys. I got some questions. So let's I want to have this conversation because I think it's a valid conversation. We see a lot of, as the fella said in the video, these gender wars, right? This back and forth between men and women that's going on. And there's just some things that are just glaringly obvious at this point. But this video for me just reiterates some of those things and some of our skewed positions. Yeah, so I think it's worth the conversation. And like I said, we try to, be balanced on this show, but I just start to notice that it goes quiet when we balance. But that's just an observation. It's just an observation. So yes, I want to get into this conversation. Like I said, everybody out in the comments, drop a comment. Let us know what you thought about the video, what made sense, what didn't. Do you agree? Do you not agree with Dr. Umar? Do you agree with the young fellas? Let us know in the comments. So yeah, I'm gonna come back to the panel. Chloe, you trying to start off, or you want to start off with how you want it to go?
No, I think the men should start off.
Okay.
You
ready, Vince? Or you want me to get it, man?
I'll let you go first.
All right, cool. So I got a few issues with this video. So I'm very familiar, with Dr. Umar. I agree with some of the things that he says. I don't agree with some of the things that he says as well. But I think overall, he means well. So let me just preface by saying that. But this video for me, I hear a lot of pandering. Yeah, and that's my first issue. he makes some points, and I've written down some points, but the overall consensus that I'm trying to understand is how do we get to the point where it seems like everything that is wrong is the man's fault? Yeah, I don't understand that, because I notice a lot of these conversations, they lack accountability. Yeah, Umar brought up some points. Actually, let me get this comment, then I'm gonna swing back into what I was saying. Donovan said, let's see, well, have men dropped the ball? Yes, as a man today, I have met women who protect their children from a new mate coming in the door, correcting potential and current problems. Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, ladies definitely should be, protective, what I'm saying, who comes around the kids. So no, that's facts right there. And no, like I said, we're not going to look past the fact that fellas have definitely dropped a lot of balls out here. I'm definitely not about to deny that. Yeah, if you're gonna be a man, but I'm saying you gotta own it. Yeah, we've definitely dropped a lot of balls out here. So I'm not. Yeah, we gotta take that L, as they say. We gotta take that L. We've dropped a lot of balls out here. But what I don't agree with is I do not think that our faults are all the men's fault. Like I don't agree with that. Yeah, I think this is a collective breakdown. I think it's a collective breakdown between men and women. I think it's also an individual breakdown of men and women as well. Yeah, but that's why I say that I'm not a fan, or I'm not a supporter of the pandering. Yeah, I feel like pandering has gotten us to this point where we're at now. I said we've had the conversations about the Derek Jacksons and everybody else. Yeah, the pandering has helped get us to this point because it sets an unrealistic view of what's really going on. Yeah, Umar talked about the fact that, as the brother was talking about the women choosing and who they're choosing to be with, or have these relationships with, or have these children with, that they need to pick better. But then Umar, replied to the young fella and said that wouldn't be the case if the men were raising solid guys. For me, that's a yes and no. Because at the end of the day, yes, are there guys out here who are not raising solid men? Yes, that is true. But then at the same time, do our women always pick those solid guys? And that answer is no. And we have plenty of examples of what that looks like. And we've had those conversations before. We will have a guy who is solid, who's got his stuff together, who's on his purpose, who's moving in the right direction. But our ladies will then come back and say, he's not swaggy enough. He don't make six figures. He not 6 feet tall. He not, he ain't, the other ladies don't want him, so I don't want him either. Like, we hear this stuff all the time. So Umar is right on one side, but then he's wrong on the other, because we do have a lot of examples of ladies deliberately picking the wrong dude. So I can't agree with him on that. Yep, I can't agree with him on that at all. Then we get into the other situation. Like I said, just staying on the topic of these guys. Then we get into this whole plethora situation we see now, this plethora of all of these divorces. Yeah, we have a lot of young ladies divorcing dudes left and right. And not all the time is it because this dude just did something wrong. Yep, a lot of these situations are because these ladies are looking for something, as they think, something better. They're looking for some greener grass. And that don't always go that way. Yeah, so I think it is, for me, it's reckless to try to one side the blame, if you will, of what is going on today, when we know that these are collective issues. Yep, guys can raise all the on point sons that they want to, But if those guys are not falling into the construct that we've now put around guys today, then they're not going to be chosen anyway by these ladies. And I got more points too, but I'm going to hold right there. Let me get some of these comments real quick. Let's see. Shantae said, Chloe, you writing stuff down so you won't forget. Yeah, no doubt. I got some notes myself, Shantae. Let's see. Shantae also said it's going to be, it's going to be bad bum adults no matter what, 2-parent household or not. No, that's facts. Yeah, at the end of the day, as folks you say back in the day, there's always going to be some knuckleheads out here, regardless of what you do. Yeah, you can raise a child up and on the straight and narrow, and then they leave them under your wing, and then they decide to go out here and become a murderer. Like, so there's always going to be some, as they say, some bad apples in the bunch. So no, that's real talk right there. Also say it's the women settling. I don't know, Shantae. I might send you that link.
On that, Shantae.
I might have to send Shantae that link. I see she ready to get going. I might send you that link, Shantae. Let's see. Kenyatta said, yep, because some ladies want the thug, but don't want, they want the thug, but don't want Pookie and Ray Ray. Can't have it both ways. These ladies have to pick a struggle.
Good point.
Shantae, let me know if I need to send you that link now.
Good point.
All right, let me, you want to say anything, Vince, or you good right now, man?
Yeah, I just had to get my thoughts together. I just want to say to my Pan-African brother, Umar Johnson, I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I agree with some of it, but then I also have to take into consideration where it's coming from, who his fan base is, who's probably contributing to his school,
right?
That we've yet to see built. But that's
a whole nother topic, man.
But as far as this topic, the thing that I don't understand is that we're in 2023.
Right.
I think that us as Black people got to get off the victim Olympics, the victim struggle bus.
Right.
Because I do agree that men have dropped the ball. Men have been irresponsible, but this is 2023. And with all this equality that you ladies say you have, see, it was different for our grandparents, because when my mother got pregnant at 19, she had to marry my father, even though they had an abusive relationship, because that's just the way it went down. So yes, she might have had to go through some things that she didn't need to go through. But in 2023, y'all don't have to do that. Y'all can pick whoever y'all want. Y'all can get pregnant. Don't have to marry him. Don't have to do nothing. So my thing is that it is in the ladies picking, because you have a choice now, and you always have, but you have a choice. And the problem is that if you don't need a man, and you're raising a man, but you're raising the quality of men has probably gotten a little bit worse. That's why so many complaints. So I think that we have to understand that you have, in 2023, you have a choice. I don't want to hear about chattel slavery. I don't want to hear about systematic racism. You have a choice. This is America, the greatest country on the planet. And if you want to go somewhere else and see if you go make it in Jamaica without some money, or wherever else where Black people is without some money. I've been to those places. No, I want to come back to America. I've been to them places where it's dirt roads and people living. I'm like, is this people really living like this? So my thing is, we have choice now in 2023. You have choices, and a lot of it, if we really be honest, if you ladies would really be honest, y'all out here making bad choices. I would say 80%. You knew, just like men knew. And I will put that definitely on men too. We are just having sex. We're not thinking about, is this man gonna be a good provider? We ain't thinking about, is this man gonna be a good father? We ain't thinking about none of that. All we thinking about is tonight. Just get some drink and some sex, and then we want to complain after the situation how it turned out. I very rarely hear a lady say, "Oh yeah, he was a good guy. Came from a good family. He was a provider." They always say, "Well, I was young and dumb." That's 90% of them. I was young and dumb.
That's real. That's real.
So I'll let Shantae go.
Go ahead, Chloe.
I think that was a good segue, Vince, about, talking about how the reasons why we get ourselves into these situations in the first place. It starts with the first bad choice. And so we're not going to ignore the first bad choice. And the first bad choice is 50% of a decision that's made by a man, right? Women control the access to sex. That is true. However, men have just as much of a choice of whether or not they're going to engage in sexual intercourse with a woman as she has, and if she's going to allow him the ability to have sex with her.
Facts.
Men are not making the same choice that they were making when, as Vince, pointed out, when his grandfather or whatever was deciding what to do when he, got his grandmother in a situation. They're not making the same choice because first and foremost, they're not even picking these women based off of anything substantial anyway. So men are just wanting to get, I'm gonna try to be PG tonight. But, they just want to get their penis wet. So that's really all they
can't make this shit up.
That's it. That's all they're thinking about. So, I mean, I'm going to keep it PG, but we all adults. And y'all can't understand it any other way, apparently. So, let's just say that. And we're not going to forget the history. The reason why people keep bringing up history is because it repeats itself. So, it absolutely is 1,000% relevant. Because, see, you guys left after mass incarceration. But you didn't come back. You guys left after drugs, but you didn't come back when the dust settled. You guys left after welfare. Now, I'll give you that some women didn't want you back because they had their boyfriend in government. But a lot of us did. But y'all didn't come back. Not in record numbers. You didn't. So we're not going to throw history away because history repeats itself. And history has a very large impact on what we're seeing today. I'm going to go point by point. The reason why we go back to men is because y'all are the leaders. I'm not going to sit up on this panel and allow y'all to talk about being leaders every other show and how y'all are leaders. Well, leaders take accountability. Leaders step up. When things go wrong, even if it's not exactly the leader's fault, what does the leader do? The leader is held accountable. He takes it on the chin and he moves forward and finds a solution to the problem. The leader doesn't say, but if my team would have, that's not what the leader does. And I've said it on this show before, and I'm going to maintain this opinion. Men are going to need to be the ones that go into this and clean this mess up. Y'all need to be the ones to clean it up. You're the leaders. You can't demand respect and submission and want women to just, fold when, let's just be honest. And I have zero reasons to pander to women. Y'all already know where I stand. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And if we're going to have this panel, there has to be some objectivity. We are not just a bunch of YouTube talking points. So let's just look at it that way. If we're leaders out here, men, then we're leaders. Now, I understand women are talking about, equality, and I don't need a man, and y'all already knew the minute women started saying that there was a cap. But y'all said, okay, all right, fine. Y'all don't need us. We gone. So you took your protection away. You took your provision away. The only thing you didn't take away was your penis. You kept procreating with the women in the community. There was no protection. There was no provision, but it was plenty of procreation. Y'all left that pee behind. You didn't take that with you. So now we're not gonna sit up here and talk about black women, this black women, that black women, black women, black women, when y'all have made a whole lot of black babies up in here. So black women must have been good for something. And we have to ask ourselves, men, why was that okay? Why was it okay for you to use another black woman for sex, but then she was not good enough for you to actually stay? So who's picking wrong? Who's choosing wrong? Because not only are you having sex with these women, but you're having sex with these women without any kind of protection or any kind of birth control. Take accountability for that too. Because that's not just all on her. It's not her sole responsibility. I'll move on. Trauma picking. So you asked the question, Mr. Price, about women picking and why are they picking what they're picking?
Right.
Well, Dr. Umar made a very valid point. If women are experiencing, excuse me, I'm so sorry, my neighbor, just one.
Let me give her a minute. I need to hear this. I feel like it's about to go down.
Where Remy at, Vince?
The baby.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I ain't know Chloe's coming back that quick. My bad.
Sorry, it got a little noisy. So trauma picking, and Dr. Umar kind of addressed this. If women are operating from a place of scarcity, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I really want to do a show on this because a lot of us are operating from a scarcity mindset. We are so scared of losing what little we've been able to gain. We are so afraid of not having enough because all we know and all we've seen is struggle. A lot of us have come from struggle environments. Not all of us, of course, but a lot of us have. We've seen struggle. So whenever we think there's an opportunity for us to possibly get out of a situation of struggle, that's what we're going to do. And if we think you're going to put us back in a situation of struggle, if we found a way out, we're running from that. And so women are taking on this mindset of, I'd rather do it by myself. Now, I am not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that's right. I'm simply saying that is what Dr. Umar was touching on. These women are operating from fear because that's what scarcity is. They're afraid. So they're so afraid to allow a man to do what a man is supposed to do because either they've experienced trauma from a man. It could have been dad. It could have been other men they was fooling with that wasn't about nothing. Could have been multiple things. But now they're still operating from that trauma mindset. That's just a fact. And if you were to talk to some women and they will be honest with you, they would tell you that they are wounded from past experiences. And that's why they make some of the decisions that they make. Now, is that right? I'm not arguing whether it's right or wrong because operating out of trauma is not right. You need to be healed. You need to get healed. So I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm simply saying that's valid. When he makes that point and says that, that's absolutely valid. And for men, I think that's something that, you guys have to understand, right? Like, just like as women, we have to understand that when Black men go out into the world, you guys are operating with a certain level of trauma because of the experiences that you have had and the experience that you currently have. Because we can act like these things just don't exist anymore. And even though we have more opportunity now than we had in the past, we're not going to sit up here and act like discrimination is not a real thing. That's a cap. A Black man can't just have everything he wants. That's not true. There are those who have beat the odds. Hallelujah to that. But every Black man is not able to go out here and just have whatever he wants. So we're not going to act like that. Now,
so hold on, let me just question. I'm gonna let you keep going. I just want to question that point you just made. So you just made a point about.
You just went right in the middle of what I was saying. But okay.
Oh, my bad. No, I thought you was going to the point. No, go ahead.
I am.
Go ahead. I'll come back. I got it down here. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The other question I wanted to ask is, The why aren't we staying on the men? Now, I'm going to do this. This I'm solely going to do because I am petty. So whenever we have these shows and the women get to talking about, well, men, when the topic of conversation is not men, I always call it out. So to be fair, I'm going to call it out again. This topic is about men and them holding themselves accountable for the part that they have played in the breakdown of the community and the relationship between men and women, which ultimately breaks down the community. And all I have heard thus far is women don't pick right, and women pookies and rays, and women. And I just want to know, when are we going to hear men take accountability that doesn't look like, I'll give you that. But women, I'm really ready for men to say, this is what we did, this is what we didn't do, and yeah, this is where we're at. What can we do now? Because I'll be honest with you guys. I have to say, as a woman who hasn't experienced a lot of the things that some of these other women experience, simply because I had to make sure I operated a certain way, because at the end of the day, I took it as my personal responsibility to make sure I was going to be okay. But you have to understand that even that right there is operating from a mindset of defense. Because I'm coming from a place where I'm like, I've seen this. I've seen women get taken advantage of. I've seen this happen. I've seen that happen, even in my own family. So when it was my turn, I was like, well, I have to do everything absolutely opposite, because I can't have that happen. So we have to get to the point where we say, as men, like we have to get to the point where we're having a conversation where men say, I'm not courting women out here. I'm just sleeping with them. I'm not taking the time to get to know a woman. I'm not taking sex off the table like I should. Women absolutely are feeling pressure to have sex if we want to continue. Because I hold the access to the relationship, if she is a decent enough woman, she's going to do whatever she feels like she needs to do to land me. Does that mean sometimes taking her outside of what she feels comfortable with? See, that's a big boy conversation. That's a grown man conversation. So if we're going to have this conversation, those things have to be addressed. They have to be considered. And I'm just saying right now, I don't hear that, but I'm done.
I like to say something right quick. I definitely understand where you're coming from, Chloe. But I also think as men, we've been told for time immemorial that we need to step up. We need to get together. We need to stay out of prison. We need to be in our children's lives. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this. We need to do that. And it's a very small percentage of men that's out here having these babies. Most of the time, a woman will have one child, but if you ask her, well, how many kids your baby daddy got? 4, 5. So it's a very small percentage of the Pookies and Ray Rays out there. They skipping over the square little guy, the lame guy. And I'm not putting this on women, but it is what it is. But where have you ever heard our community put some of the blame on our sisters? You will never hear it. Where's the men? Are they in jail? Are they beating on us? Are they doing this? You'll never heard that. You know what? We need to pick better as a community. It's always the man's fault. And we've accepted that. We've accepted we got to do better. The majority of us have accepted because that's all we hear. We hear it in the black man need to do this. Black man need to do that. We had an atonement march for Farrakhan, atoning back to our families. So, but then I also understand that I have a plethora of kids. I teach my kids, you can do whatever you want to do. There are no limitations. Yes, you have to be understanding, but there are no limitations. Black man, black boy, black girl, there are no limitations. If you put the work in, and see, that's what it is. If you put the work in, see, people don't want to put the work in. They want to make a bunch of excuses for not putting in the work and see the results that they got. They want to halfway go to college. They want to halfway do this, halfway do that. And then when they don't get their results, then it's the white man's fault. But if we take it back, get a little information, you're going to see, no, you just didn't put in the work. I believe in the work. That's all I believe in. Because I've seen it. I've seen people come from nothing and have something because they wanted to put in the work. But then I've seen people like me who had babies early and who want to get bad credit, who want to drive around with bold license, and then want to, well, it's the white man. They need to leave me alone. No, you need to get it right. So I believe in total accountability. So yes, we do need to step up. But then we also, as leaders, I own the business. If my workers, I don't care how good I am as a leader, if they don't want to follow, I got to get some new workers. No matter how good of a leader I am, or I think I am, if they don't want to follow, I got to get some new workers. So I do understand your point, and yes, we both need to pick better. Men need to pick better, and what our boys need to do is pick themselves. Pick yourself, young men. Pick your gift. Pick your way, and then you'll be a better man. So I definitely agree. It's accountability on both sides.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I guess my thing about the whole.
Hold on, you want to say something, Shantae?
Yeah, I just want to address. I just want to talk what y'all was talking about. So, first of all, it's a cat's tail, dog's tail. It's just gonna go in a circle because it's so many parts of it. Second, I want to shed some light on just our community. I've heard racism from Africans at the hospital I was working at, and they call us Black Americans. An African said that, and I heard it, and I didn't know what it was, and I'm thinking like it don't feel right coming from her, you know. And so I was thinking to myself like, what is that? So I ended up asking somebody. Now this when I was fresh here, I had just got here. I probably was a week into Georgia. So I'm like, what is that? And she was like, oh, yeah, that's such and such. And she explained to me like, yeah, they don't look at us like they don't call us African Americans. They call us Black Americans. Like they not
Africans. They know we're not African.
So they not repping us.
Topic, but yeah.
Yeah, so they call us that, and I understand, but so when Dr. Umar talk about how the women can't talk to, how American women wouldn't be able to talk to the men like that over there, I think them as a culture, I think the Africans, they just crazy because the women are aggressive too. Yeah. Not saying it like that though, you know, even Jamaicans too, the women are aggressive, you know. Yeah. So sometimes that just has to do with their culture. So what I think he just giving too much accolades. Like, yeah, I love my people, whatever, motherland, all of that. And then he's saying like, yeah, and I done took a couple of Americans over there. Yeah, that's lightweight pimping. They're probably getting married just to get a green card. They don't care. Not saying they don't care, but they got so many women over there to choose from that don't have no kids, that have been raised to want them as a husband. You know, and some people, this happened to a friend of mine. She married somebody, an African or something. He paid her real good. And after they was married for a lot of, however many years you got to be married, 2-3 years. After that, he went back to his country and got his wife, and they came over here. But he did what he had to do. But he left his arranged wife or whoever he was supposed to marry. He had her before he came over here and came to she was living in Georgia just about 10-15 years ago. But I just wanted to shed some light on how these cultures, they just stick together, like the Chinese and all of that. And then if we stuck together like that, then I think we would produce better men, you know. So that part, I am, my kid is a knucklehead. I'm a knucklehead too, though. Coming from where I come from, I'm a knucklehead, and my daughter was taught nothing that I'll be like, who are you? Because she does nothing I have taught her. I have explained stuff to her. I have explained that the reason that our relationship is a little strained because I wasn't around like that because I had to work because I was a single mother. So if you know what I mean, and she's still I don't know, but whatever. So that's why I was saying it's gonna be knuckleheads everywhere. It don't matter if they coming from a 2-parent household or not. You instill this stuff and you instill this stuff, and then they turn around and get older, and it's just a slap in the face. Like, I didn't teach you that, So sometimes it be like that, which is messed up. But and then and then I wanted to touch on what I was saying, how I agree with the young guys. Yes, it's so easy to say no, especially if you don't know nobody. All you got to do is ask them a couple questions. And maybe I do this a little bit more often when I was dating, because this is a new state for me. But I'm asking questions. Do you have a car? If you say no, then we're not getting to the second question, because I'm not dating any guys without a car. So we
Right.
don't have to talk about it anymore. And then the thing, it's no sweat off my back because I don't know the guy. So if you surround yourself with a certain, just like they say, when you're talking about career and all of that, you want to be a millionaire, put yourself in a room with some millionaires. Well, if you want to be with a good guy, then surround yourself with good guys. Because I have not, it's gonna be guys, but I've met a lot of nice guys. I'm talking about, and 8 times out of 10 why I didn't work out with these nice guys that I've met down here is because they didn't have kids. Because they taught down here in the South, don't have kids until you get married. And so now they 40 years old, ready to meet somebody and get married real quick. No. So I think that as a community, what this show is about, I think as a community, we do have to come together and take accountability. I'm not saying the women take accountability for the men, because, but like I said, stop, 1 pookie, 2 pookie. Okay. But after that, like, if you didn't learn your lesson the first time or the second time, whatever you have coming after that is on you.
That's real.
So, like she said, it's accountability. It's accountability on both ends.
But let me ask the question. So just in your example, so you said 1 pookie, 2 pookies, okay, 3 pookies, you ain't learned your lesson, so that's on you. Do you feel like those pookies even exist? Do you feel like those pookies would even exist if it wasn't for men out here dropping the ball?
The percentage wouldn't be as high.
Agreed.
Okay. Interesting.
Agreed.
The percentage would not be as high.
Agreed, because what happened to men calling other men out? Like, what happened? This is where I would go with that, right? This is my response to that. First of all, if we do understand that you might get a knucklehead, even if you have 2 parents in the household, we understand sometimes children grow up and they go their own way. And you cannot always control that. But you definitely increase the odds of having a child that's better grounded. I have to agree with you, Nicole. It's better grounded because that child did see an example of a father who was there handling his business, even if he wasn't perfect, right? Like, they're handling his business and correcting him and disciplining him and at least attempting to teach him and attempting to guide him, right? And a lot of these men, they're missing that. And so when they don't have that, it definitely, then you have a young man who has to beat the odds. He has to beat the odds that are against him. Because in that situation, the odds are against him. So now he has to be the one to beat the odds. And so we cannot discredit that. We cannot discredit that. Like, I'm sorry, but having friends around you that they just out here having babies with women and they not taking care of none of the kids, but that's your friend and you ain't said nothing to him about that. You ain't called him out about that. I'm trying to understand, like, make it make sense for real. Like,
and
because wait a minute, because you always ask the ladies, and you're not wrong. You always ask the ladies to hold their girls accountable, hold their girlfriends accountable, hold their friends accountable. and I don't disagree. My question is, are men also holding their friends accountable?
No.
Holding holding their relatives accountable, holding their siblings accountable for going out here and being the guy that's getting pregnant, getting multiple women pregnant? Are they holding that guy accountable for being a deadbeat dad?
And what's sad is the young people that's speaking up now, the people that's our age, those the people that's not holding their friends accountable. Remember, they just had something on TikTok and the old boy was eating a chicken and he was like, no, you ain't gonna be cheating in the club after I done spent all that money on your wedding. Remember, so these the young guys, these guys that's 45, 46, and they've been with their wife and got grown, not even grown kids, but even of age kids, maybe 12, 13. They not calling them out. It's our age people. I feel like it's the young people that's coming around now to say something, like nudging you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's sad.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying, but see, I'm still struggling with is how is this all the man's fault? That's what I'm struggling with. And what I mean by that is just having this conversation we having right now. So this, for me, this is a mindset conversation, right? Will dudes talk to their boys when they doing some of this reckless stuff? Yeah, some of the dudes will. Not all of the dudes, but some of the dudes will. Yeah, will some dudes disown other dudes that's out here doing this stuff? Yeah, some of them will, but some of them won't. But I feel like, especially when it comes to this sex, because see, a lot of this for me, this goes back to this sex again. Like, is that happening on both sides? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, some dudes will, some dudes won't. Like, so that is true. So I'm agree with that. Like, that is true. Some dudes will, some dudes won't. But it's like, is this? I still don't understand how this is all the man's fault.
Okay, let me just give you an analogy real quick. It's the man's fault because of the absence. Okay, when you can't breathe, it's because of absence of oxygen.
Right.
So who fault is it that you can't breathe? It's the oxygen fault you can't breathe because you got lack of oxygen. So if you have something absent from you, or you got something absent from your body, just like if you got an extra chromosome, if it's something not right, then yeah, something is gonna be affected. It's not gonna be normal.
Right.
So it's the man's fault because they absent. Just like an absent leg mean you can't walk on 2 feet.
But I think the issue that Quay might be having is why are the men absent? And we try to put it on, and yet this is like the chicken and the egg to me. It's like the chicken come first and then the egg come first.
That's why I said it's just
so. But I think that we also, and then as far as the men, I have a very close friend of mine who got a bunch of kids, and every time we've talked, and we haven't talked because he know how I get down. But I think men don't really care what men think. So I know a lot of women be like, well, why don't y'all? Men don't really care what men think. The value of what a man thinks about me doesn't matter. I think if women would care more about that, I think they would change. Because men do everything for women. That's the difference. Men do everything for a woman. A man don't. You very rarely see a man step out trying to impress another man. We trying to impress women.
So
what I'm saying is, I don't think, even with me and my friend, I don't think he really cares how I feel about him being. I mean, not to the point of change. I don't think men are structured like that where they really care what men think. I think if just like to me, I think if, in my personal opinion, is if women would expect more of men, men would do more. I don't think men care about what men think. Women try to impress women. Y'all buy certain bags and to impress a woman. Men buy cars so women will look at them. Men want to get in shape so a woman will look at them. We don't care what men think in that aspect. So the whole thing about men holding men accountable for that, I don't know if it weighs as much as women holding men accountable for just the absent father thing. I think it's more with the older generation, but this younger generation, they got this whole don't judge me, can't nobody say nothing, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So it's like people really don't care. That's just like you saying, girl, you don't need to wear that. You can't judge me. I'm gonna wear what I want to. Or a guy, look, bro, pull up your pants. Well, I'm gonna wear my pants like I want to. I'm gonna wear my hair like I want to. Can't nobody judge me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. This newer generation, because I think that and we've taught our kids that to be selfish, to not really value authority. That's why you have so many kids that don't respect. It used to be a time where I go to the mall, and when I was a kid, I wasn't cussing around grown folks. I wasn't cussing around ladies. I had a certain respect for my elders and for women. But this newer generation, but they don't judge me. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. I wanna loop this back though, because I said I got to get down to the bottom of this. So Shantae, I got some questions. I think Chloe, was you gonna start to say something? I'm gonna go back to Shantae on something she was saying.
Right, because I think me and Chloe, say what you was about to say, Chloe, because we was both in the camera with our face all wrinkled. We was dazed and confused, girl.
I was just thinking that while I understand what Vince is saying as far, I don't think men sit back and make their decisions based off of what a man says. But I would not necessarily say that men don't care what other men think of them, because men have a certain thing called an ego. And so I absolutely believe that men do care what other men think. Now, they might not let it change their whole way of being, but I believe that men absolutely do consider and do care. I mean, we have this whole manosphere. We have this whole podcast atmosphere because we're talking to men. And Kevin Samuels had a whole platform because he began his journey speaking to men. So men do care. Now, is it going to dictate their life? Maybe not that much, but they will listen, and they do care to a certain level and to a certain extent. And they will have a man that they respect. That's the difference. I believe that if it's a man they respect and he says something to them, then I think that they sit down and they consider that thing, because I've seen men consider things that Kevin Samuels said because they respected him. And so I do believe that you will have men that will respond, but I think it also depends on your relationship with that man, the level of respect that you guys have for each other. And I think if that's there, then I think that it absolutely will carry weight when you say something to him about something that he is doing. So I think that's the difference. And listen, I understand I'm a woman, but from what I see, it depends on the type of relationship and the level of respect that man has for that other man. And then I think, I think that women picking the flashy guys and the guys that can do something for them, I think a lot of that, guys, let's just think about it for a second. In the Black community, what male figure over the course of time has always been the male figure celebrated? The celebrity, the ball player, the rapper. That was the one male figure that has been consistently celebrated in our community. The regular, average, everyday man, not so much. And the problem is that women have bought into that, especially the women in this younger generation that's coming after us. They have absolutely bought into that. So now they don't want the regular average man, because that's not the one. The one that they need is the one that can do all of these things for them. And that guy is the guy that's flashy because he looks like maybe he might have some money. He can take care of them. He's the guy that knows how to dress because he's going to be shopping and taking them shopping. It's that guy, because that guy more symbolizes, or is more similar to that guy that has always been the idol in the Black community. And Umar touched on that. The ball player, the actor, the rich guy, Like that's why you got silly women going around here talking something. They don't want a guy they're working 9 to 5 no more. Like
I want to make a comment on that real quick.
I really believe that's a problem.
You would think that that's so, but most of these women is having these babies by guys that's living in their house. It would be different if they was really getting ball players and really with some money. Then I would say, hey, fair exchange ain't robbery. But they getting dudes that ain't taking care of kids.
But that's
you actually got the baller.
But the difference is they having sex with the other guy. But that if you talk to them though, the guy that they want, the guy they want to settle down with, their quote unquote person, is this other guy, the 6, 6, and 6 guy. That's the guy that they want to settle down with. That's the guy that they want to be their person. The other guys are the guys they having fun with. I'm not saying I agree with this mindset. I don't agree with it at all. But that's what we see happening.
And she just picked her, and she just picked him because her daddy wasn't there. So she ain't had no choice because she ain't got no, so it just go back to the dad being absent. If she had a decent dad, then she wouldn't have picked the guy or had a baby with the guy that she was living with because she know what a man is.
Yeah, but see, that ain't. I see. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
because I was there. I think I'm reformed. I was there. I got great men around me. Grew up with great men. Stepfather, you know what I'm saying? Grandfather. They was all my whole family married. But I still dated knuckleheads. They gonna do what they gonna do. But shoot, after you got to grow out of that. Like I said, 1 pookie, 2 pookies. But after that, you got to grow out of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's just a friend and y'all kicking it or something. But you don't just keep cuffing these guys and having baby by these guys. I only got the one. So that's why I learned off of that one Ray Pookie. But he grew up to be a great dad, so that was it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Shout out to IT in the building, Nicole. She said it is still a choice. And that's facts. And that's why I said I'm struggling to understand how this all falls back on the men, right? Because even in the situation that you guys just touched on, with her wanting the celebrity guy or the guy that's got this money, but then she ends up laying up with the dude who don't have that stuff. To Nicole's point, that's still a choice. Like, how many families do we know where there was a solid dad and a solid mom? I mean, I got one on top of my head right now in my family. But how many families do we know where there was a solid mom and a solid dad that was there, that was involved in his child's life, and the child chose to rebel and went out and did some nonsense? And the whole time the father was saying, do not be out here having no kids until you get married. And she still chose to go out here and lay up with some knucklehead and get married. And have a child. And according to Umar, that's the men's fault. Because the men didn't raise this dude to not lay up with this girl. It's the men's fault. So that's why I said I'm struggling, because we do have a factor of choice that is still involved in this whole equation. Now, mind you, let me circle back, because Chloe made a point earlier. It was a valid point, but we did start this conversation now because Donovan dropped that conversation, that topic, that comment right out the gate. The dudes have dropped a lot of balls. We not about to act like that ain't the case. We gotta take that L. That's how I said it earlier. We gotta take that L on that. But some of this stuff is still choice. And I'm just trying to understand, according to Umar, how does this all become the man's fault? Like, I just don't understand that. Yep, going back to what Shantae said earlier. So a young lady will mess with Pookie number 1, Pookie number 2. Then she'll go back and mess with Pookie number 3 and then end up with a baby. According to Umar, that's these men's fault, because Pookie shouldn't exist if men was doing what they were supposed to do. So I'm trying to understand, once again, how does all of this stuff, even with these choices integrated into this situation, how does it all point back to the man? Then in the situation where the man does stay consistent with the woman, they actually get married and have some kids. Then she divorces that man. And we've seen enough of the stories. Then she wants to keep the kids away from the man. Now the man has to go fight in court and do this whole song and dance that we see all the time. Once again, how is that the man's fault? So I'm not saying that some of the things that Umar said were not accurate. I just don't see how all of this stuff is the man's fault. Like, how are we omitting choice out of the equation? Like, I don't understand how you do that. Go ahead, Chloe. You want to say something?
I guess, I mean, kind of like, Shantae said, and Vince has said before, this is a little bit like the cat chasing his tail. I mean, we can go round and round and round and round and round. At the end of the day, no one has said that it's all the man's fault. So words matter. And so we're not going to do semantics. Nobody has said that it's all the man's fault. What was said on the show actually was that there is a portion of blame, and I think it was one of the young guys that said that does need to be had on both sides, right? So there's a portion of this that needs to be the woman's fault, and she holds that. And then there's a portion of this that needs to be the man's fault, and he holds that, right? Instead of going back and forth about why is this, why is this, why is that, the truth of the matter is we can't just say as men, and this is what I'm waiting for, and I understand that I'm not talking directly to the men on this panel because you guys don't necessarily represent the demographic that we're talking about. However, you are representing the men for this particular conversation, right? Just like we're trying to hold down the women for this particular portion of the conversation. So then I'm waiting for the men to say, not just say, we have to take that L and then boop, that's it. No. What does that look like? If we say as men, okay, we are accountable for this part, this part, this part, this part. We did do this stuff. Okay. What does that look like? Because when it's time for you guys to hold a woman's feet to the fire in these conversations, you want to know what you're going to do, what's she going to do about that? Okay, you out here, you picking wrong. So what you need to do, you need to pick better. You out here, you doing this, you need to do. So you guys can tell us as women what we need to be held accountable for, and I'm not disagreeing. And then you can say, well, we need to do different. Okay, I'm with you. So men, now that you can accept that there's a portion of this that's your fault, what needs to happen now? What needs to be the communication with men? What needs to be the conversation with men? What needs to be the guys, this is the next step for us because we've done this, and we've done this. What needs to be the next steps? Because accountability isn't just saying, oh, I did that. Accountability is also what comes next after you hold yourself or whomever accountable for what it is that they've done. And this is the way to do that. This is the conversation to do that. I'm not saying women don't need to also have this conversation. Women absolutely need to be having this conversation. Right now, we're saying, men, this is your fault. So men, now that you have agreed that this is your fault, A, B, C, D was your fault. Now, okay, men, what do we need to do? Because we got to move forward. From the male perspective, what do men need to do? Because we can spend all night going back and forth. Well, women did this, but they won't let us see our kids and this, that, and the third. You're right. I don't agree with any of that. We already know that's a problem. But at the end of the day, I guess my thing is this, right? Women allow themselves to get caught up with a guy that they didn't even like, probably knew they didn't want to be with. So she allowed the wrong guy into her space, period. She has to now be held accountable for that. This particular guy also knew he ain't want to be with this girl like that. He knew he ain't want to be with her like that. But he still had sex with her and didn't have any kind of protection or birth control methods that he employed or anything like that, because he got some stuff he could use too. And he didn't. So now here we have her side of this situation and we have his side of this situation, right? So men, what do you need to do differently? Women, what do you need to do differently? So I think that we have to get past the part of the conversation where we say, okay, yeah, we did some things. We got to get past that part of the conversation and we got to say, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, and we need to start picking better. We need to start keeping our penises to ourselves. We need to stop fooling around with these girls and start dating women with intention. We need to start, that needs to be the next step of the conversation, because what happens in a lot of these conversations is we can tell women exactly what they need to do differently. But I'm trying to have the conversation where we start telling men and holding men also accountable for the different decisions that they need to make. And for a man to stand 10 toes down into that and stop talking about, but if a woman wouldn't let me, why should you even get to the point where you got a scallywag letting you have sex with her? Why you even want it? She for the streets. That's actually why you trying to have sex with her. So now let's talk about it.
Okay, I want to make a comment. This is about solutions.
Come on, Vince.
I'm always about solutions. I think some people, it's just over for. It's like the children of Egypt. Some people are just going to die in the wilderness. But for those who are coming behind us, our children, what we need to do, we need to teach our sons to love themselves. Like we talk all this self-love, teach our sons to love themselves, not to try to find a manship in between a woman's legs, and get themselves together and be intentional. Understand that anytime you have sex with a woman, that could be your baby mama. So yes, I do believe we have to. So yes, I think it's for the next generation of men, because some people are just like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Sometimes it's just too late, and I do believe in sometimes it's just too late because people don't want to change. But for those who can change, that's what I think we need. I think we need to understand that if it ain't marriage, it ain't right. If it ain't marriage, it ain't gonna work. And we need to just say that. Being a little part-time daddy ain't good enough. Being a weekend daddy ain't good enough. It's 7 days in the week. You need to be there 7 days for at least 18 years. So you need to understand that and find your woman that can get on your program, that you'll know will get on your program, and you got a program. See, that's the one thing. We need to have a program, because it is a lot easier to get a woman to submit, cooperate, do all that if you got your shit together. Because people bend the power. They don't bend to no words. So yes, I believe in results, and that's what we need to do. We need to teach her. And for the men who have sons that's out there, you need to be honest with your son. Tell them, look, me and your mama was just having sex. I love you, but that's what it was. And fight for your kids. See, a lot of men, you right, Cole, a lot of men are weak. They don't want to fight. They don't want to go to court. Because first of all, they ain't got no money. And second of all, they just don't want to. And the woman they had a child with, they shouldn't have a child with in the first place. But that's the situation with them. But for the younger people, that's what we need to preach. We need to preach, if you ain't married, don't have no babies. Because these kids need you every single day. And the one thing I've learned by having this whole new do-over is kids are going to do what they see. I don't care what you tell them. I tell my kids a lot of things, but they see me being a player. They see me having a bunch of damn girlfriends. They see me with 4 engagements. And yes, I might have my stuff together now, but they never experienced that.
Right.
So they're going to go by what they experienced. So I can't blame my older kids for making the decisions they was making, because I didn't teach them nothing. As far as relationships. And see, we don't understand that. As far as relationships, we might teach them, go to school, this and that and other. But where have they seen love between a man or a woman? Where have they seen cooperation between a man or a woman? They even seen bad relationships. I look at how many bad relationships my kids done seen, things they should have never seen, things they should have never been experienced. And then I wonder, well, why are they doing this? Because that's what I showed them. So we have to take some accountability for that too. Us as single parents and us as, we was young and we was at work. Well, we shouldn't have been at work. Somebody should have been at home with them kids. They daddy or they mama, not some grandmama who can't really take care of them, ain't really paying attention. So we got to take responsibility for how we're raising these children. And that's the one thing that men need to do. And then don't just talk about doing better, do better. So I agree with you, Chloe. We need some solutions. And that's one of them. Get your shit together. Tell your sons you ain't moving out of this house with no little girlfriend. You're going to move to your own house. And you're going to stay here till you got enough money to get one. You're going to be driving your own car. You ain't going to be driving your girlfriend's car. So that's what we need to do. And then that'll give them a respect. And then they will pick the woman that they really want. You know how many of these women, they jump out there in these little relationships when they're young because, oh, well, the rent $1,000. You pay $500, I pay $500. And then a year later, they don't even want to be together. But because they can't afford to live on their own, they got to stay there. Then they start having babies. They don't really want to be there. 5, 6 years later, you had 2 kids with somebody you don't even want to be with because of the finances. Instead of getting your shit together first, then you'll pick the woman that you really want.
That's real. Shantae, you want to say something?
But sometimes, unfortunately, some men don't pay attention to detail. So don't listen. So you have to listen to these women. So when the girl talking about having kids, when the girl talking about having your baby, when the girl, even if it's in the heat of the moment, anytime something with a kid go off, it's a red flag for you. It should be a red flag, but men, they not paying attention. Sometimes they laugh it off. They might think it's a little cute because she talking about having your baby. Then when it pop up and she about to have your baby, you want to say something. But if you would have paid attention, I've been telling you for months I want to have your baby. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand. And then that whole thing about, like Chloe said, men have if the girl don't want you to put a condom on, don't have sex with her, or you demand to put a condom on. Like, all a choice. And if you don't, then I just don't understand, because even if he tells you, even if some women don't believe in abortion, so even if you go to her and say, hey, I don't want this child, if you have this child, I'm not going to help you take care of it, and then she still goes ahead and had that child, and then he already told you before he wasn't going to help you, but some women don't believe in it, where if you wouldn't even put yourself in a position to get the girl pregnant, you wouldn't even have to be going through this. So I think that it's still gonna be. That's why I was saying there's so many parts of the tale. It's just gonna be a whole lot of chasing, because it's a choice. This ain't the 40s. I mean the 20s.
So okay. So let me ask this, because I feel like we back at this same point. So is the solution to all of this basically ain't nobody having no sex until you get married?
Boom. How about that?
No, responsible sex.
No sex.
I have responsible
Oh
sex.
my God!
No, because
I protect
we need
myself.
no. I pick somebody.
I just don't have multiple partners.
No, real talk. So the reason I'm
know.
saying that is because, right, we saying that basically when I look at the source of all of this, because I said I think we have a collective problem. When I look at the source of all of this, it all points back to sex. Like, we always get all the way back to sex. So all these dysfunctional kids, this all starts at dysfunctional sex. Like, it's all back to sex, right? I know we say that women control access to sex, men control access to relationships, but then at the same time, we'll also say that men control the sex. So no, what I mean by that is, let me give you some context. What I mean by that is, we're saying that if the dude protects himself, then this prevents these pregnancies or this type of thing, right? So now we're saying that the dude has a control factor in this sex as well. So she controls. That's right. So okay. Yeah. So I'm saying the same thing, right?
Okay.
So is that the ultimate solution? So if nobody is having sex until they get married, so there's no baby mamas, there's no baby daddies, because at the end of the day, if you're not having sex till you get married, then all you would ever end up with is a possible ex-wife and an ex-husband, right? So that kills the whole baby mama, that whole thing, right? Is that the ultimate solution that solves all of this? No sex until you get married. Go ahead, Chloe.
I would say yes, because I'm always going to, first of all, I'm always going to take it back to a spiritual angle. And I think that if we go back to God's design, that's the way he designed it. He designed it so that men and women, would be having this level of intimacy with the person that they've chosen to commit and have a marriage covenant with. It was supposed to be that way. This is why, the whole way marriages were handled. First of all, they were arranged by families back then. And then not only that, they didn't even get a chance to even be physical until the commitment was already in place. And I just think that it's a protection mechanism. It protects us from so many different things, because even if you say, okay, I'm going to be responsible, right? I'm going to have protection. Maybe she's on birth control. We're going to be responsible. But from a spiritual perspective, you're still creating a soul tie with that person. So if you don't end up being with that person, now you go off to another person, but you still have a soul tie that you just established with that other person. And spiritually speaking, in order for you to really be able to move forward with another person, you got to break that. You have to break that. And the only person that can break that is God, because a soul tie is spiritual. It's not physical. You can't wash that off. You can't douche that off, ladies. You can't cut all your hair off and all of a sudden that it disappears. It don't work that way, because it's a spiritual connection that you just established with this person. This is another reason why, morally, this is why God says you don't even need to be entertaining somebody on that level unless this is your person. This is going to be the person you're going to be with. Now, we understand that things happen down the line and people get divorced, and that's a whole nother conversation. That's not even really what we're talking about, though. We're talking about baby mamas and baby daddies, and they ain't got nothing to do with divorce. So if we're going to have that conversation, we're going to have it openly, we're going to have it genuinely, we're going to have it honestly, then we got to own up to the fact that all sex is irresponsible sex if you're not having it with your partner, and that partner signifies the person that you've decided to be married to. And if you have not married that person, then it's irresponsible. And that's just, but see, people don't be ready for that conversation, because at the end of the day, people want to do what they want to do, and that's what they want to do. And they don't want nobody to tell them to do no different. But if you want to get a fix for this problem, get rid of the sin.
Okay. So I can understand that. So then, to circle back to your point that you made earlier, then I'm gonna ask one more question. But to circle back to your point earlier, then yeah, so that is a solution. And I can only put it this way, fellas, stop worrying about these chicks. Yeah, that's really the solution. Yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff comes from fellas worrying about these chicks, worrying about what they think, who they want, what kind of body she got, and all of that. And then, of course, this sexual aspect comes up. So if fellas stop worrying about these chicks and only focus on themselves and what they're here to do, then the right chick, she gonna come along anyway.
Wait a minute. I got a question about that.
Go ahead.
So the right chick gonna come along. Like maybe it's just I don't understand the context, so I'm gonna ask for it.
Yeah, so
because women don't pursue men. That's out of order.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, let me understand.
Yeah, no, what I'm talking about is basically fellas going out here and focusing on themselves and their purpose and handling their business. When that man handles his business, then he's gonna run into that right woman. Because she's gonna gravitate to a man handling his business, not no hot boy, not no thug, not no cat flashing no money, none of that. So that's why I'm saying the solution is for dudes to stop worrying about these chicks and focus on themselves. That is the solution. Because see, dudes get caught up worrying about these chicks. And that's where all this sex come from. You got dudes out here selling drugs, trying to impress these chicks. You got dudes out here doing this hot stuff because the chicks say they want a cat with this type of money. So see, at the end of the day, if dudes fall back and focus on them and their purpose, then a lot of this stuff stops. Dudes wouldn't even hold sex in the high regard that they hold it now if they focused on themselves and on their purpose. Yeah, so that is the solution. So getting to that particular landing ground, then yeah, so a lot of this stuff is on the men. Yep, it is.
So Chloe,
yeah,
quick question.
Go ahead.
Can I ask Chloe a quick question?
Go ahead.
So down here, because they are taught that, I ran into so many men that didn't have any kids. Like I was saying, it never worked out because of that, or a lot of the things didn't work out because of that. And just talking to me and looking at me, assuming I was younger than what I am, it was just all types of pursuance. But let me tell you, this one time, I was working at this restaurant, and a guy came in with his family. It was his mom and his dad. By the end of the meal, his mama was trying to get her son to me, like, please, he needs a wife. He this, that, and the other. And I think that it looked like they were desperate. Like, and I was thinking to myself, well, I said this to them. I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. Everything that glitter ain't gold, And she, I don't know if she understood, but then I started breaking it down. Like, well, I'm about to be 40, and I have a grown kid, and I'm just here for the weather. I'm not here for all. I had to break it down because they didn't. He didn't have any kids. So my thing is, yeah, he held out. He did it the right way, but then if the right one don't come along, or if y'all don't cross the right paths, or if you don't cross paths with your person, you can't just yoke yourself with somebody just because it's about that time and you need to have some kids, but you got to be married to have some kids. So at a certain point, yeah, you got to be married to have some kids, but that ain't really your person.
I don't think men have that problem. I really don't. I think when a man gets himself together and he want to find a wife, they usually find a wife. I don't see too many men who are single that want to be married, got themselves together. They usually find a wife. Now she might not be as cute as you think he might, but he'll look for something else. And men, see, I think about men. We settle. I know y'all don't want to settle, but men settle. We like, look, we at this age, we want this. Yeah, she might not be as fit as I want, but she's a beautiful person. We look at the other qualities. So that usually don't happen for men, not unless he just real ugly or something.
But my point was not being with your person, whether you hold out on the kids or whether you not hold out on the kids. That ain't your person. That's not the person that you were supposed to be.
I don't believe in that my person thing either. I know it sounds cute.
I think that's a female thing, Vince.
My person. I think that's a female thing. Your person.
But it took you a minute to find your person. Why you don't understand your person word?
No. I became my person. And then I found Remy after I became my person.
Say that about my cousin Remy.
I mean, it sounds cute and it's just the butterflies and all that. But at the end of the day, after I got off my crap, I became my person.
Yeah, but that's why it's a beautiful thing that Chloe and Quay, they was able to find their person at a younger age. But that's what I mean by your person, and then your person gonna make you do certain things. Look at you, Vince. You going to the doctor and everything now.
Right, but I think that your person thing is I don't think people have a person, because my thing is, what if that person died before you met him? So that's not really your person.
Yes, I think people die from a heartbreak all the time. No. People been married 40 years.
What I mean is people do this whole, well, it's my soulmate, and I yeah, it's cute, and yeah, it makes you feel good, but at the end of the day, you would have found somebody else that you would have said, this my soulmate. If you're that person and you really, you'll find somebody. You're gonna attract somebody. I want to say that person. You're gonna attract a husband. That's why people can be married. I know women that's married, their husband died, they get married again. Does that mean that their first husband wasn't their soulmate, their person?
Right. No. That's valid.
It means that they found somebody. They was a good wife and they found another husband. Men do it all the time. Men who are used to being married, if their wife passed, they'll be married in a few more months.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds cute and we want to put this whole
That's how I was raised.
big thing on it, but if your person, then you'll attract the person for you. And
Yeah,
then
let me just say,
Yeah,
let me just say this. So there's the other piece of that, right? So I don't think this whole your person is a bad thing, but I think it's a bad thing if it doesn't come with any intentions. Yeah, see, a lot of folks today, they use that your person stuff because that's basically it's a placeholder. It's essentially it's a stall tactic because you don't want to get yourself together. Yeah, see, when you're talking about my person and you actually getting yourself together and you got yourself on point, then see that's got intentions behind it. But see, when you just saying, it's almost like, ladies who say I'm single by choice. No, you're not. You just single by choice because you don't want to change some stuff about what you're doing. That's why you single by choice. But at the end of the day, we all want to be with somebody. So we gotta stop capping out here like we actually want to be single. Don't nobody want to be single.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, so we use my person the same way we use I'm single by choice. And that just means you don't want to go do what you know you need to do to get your person. So then you try to convince people you waiting on this person because you don't want to make no changes. He just gonna pop up and find you. And that ain't how that works. So yeah, it's all about your intention. But I want to touch one more thing. I know we getting around at 10 o'clock, so we got to get out of here. But I want to touch one more thing from that Umar video. Then I'm going to leave it alone for now because I know what the solution is now. I'm going to talk to Chloe later about that too. But Umar made another point that I got to touch. And I'm struggling. He said, because this topic comes up a lot. We talk about these masculine women. And the dudes always complaining about these masculine women. Hold on, Shantae. Hold on, Shantae. I saw that face. Hold on a minute. But Umar said it is the men's fault that these women are masculine.
This is when I can't give him that one.
I need to understand this. So everybody down in the comments, drop a comment. Umar Johnson in that video said that it is the men's fault as to why these women are masculine today. And we should not be surprised. He also said that he will, some of this disrespect that we receive from some of these masculine women. We have to accept that. So I gotta understand this. Do we feel like the men are at fault for why these women are masculine today? So drop a comment for me. Anybody in the comments, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna go to the panel. Chloe, Shantae, Vince. Is it the men's fault that these women are masculine today?
I can't give that on. I can't put that on the men. I don't think that it's the man's fault. I do understand if he's trying to make a case for women have been put in a situation at times where they've had to do things that a man has had to do, that a man typically is responsible for. I get that, right? Because there have been situations where women have had to step up. Whatever the circumstances have been, women have had to step up. And sometimes that can definitely cause you to have some masculine, take on some masculine energy and take on some masculine traits. But once again, I can't put that all on the man because I have to ask that woman, did she make any choices that helped put her in that situation? And if the answer is yes, then I can't put it all, that piece, I cannot just say, oh no, it's all the man. Because just like, Shantae gave us a great example earlier, sometimes a man will tell you, I'm not trying to have no kids. Now, where he falls short is you can't say, I'm not trying to have no kids, but then don't protect yourself. That's right. Where he falls short at. But if he did tell you that, then woman, now it's your turn to take your part and say, well, then I ain't trying to get pregnant by this dude because he already told me even if a mistake happened, he ain't with it. So that's your part. So now if he tells you that and then you say, oh, well, I'm just gonna try it and it don't go your way. So see now you put yourself in this position, right? So I'm not gonna say that that absolves the man of any responsibility. I'm just gonna say you also could have said, well, since he ain't gonna be responsible, I'm gonna be responsible. And because you didn't, right? Then there you go. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not gonna put that all on the man.
Interesting. Okay. I'm Vince, Shantae, y'all want to say anything at all?
I think the problem with that is that, it's this whole thing about like when women say I had to be the mama and the daddy. I just think you had to be the mother. There was no father. There was no daddy. And because I come from quote unquote career women, that has nothing to do with masculinity. My grandmother and a cousin of mine are very much career women, but they're the most feminine. They're the most cooperative to their husbands. So I think the problem is that they don't know how to switch it and turn it off when they get home because they haven't seen it. They haven't seen their mothers nurturing to their fathers. They've only seen their mothers angry and upset and worried about the job. So a lot of it has to do with how we're raised. I don't believe that men have made them masculine. So I don't know.
Okay. Shantae, you want to say something?
Well, in my journey with what I identify as far as like not his or like a pronoun or anything, as far as me being the type of person that I am. So down to, or maybe this is just something I say to myself to play tricks on myself. But masculinity and being a leader, I think is totally two different things. I grew up with my mother being a leader. She was married though. Married, ran our household, you know what I'm saying, very submissive, but she was still a leader. So I have always been a leader. Um and or maybe not, or my and another thing, my mom never really cared like what nobody thought. She never really cared. And I think that sometimes when you come up around those women, it kind of spills over. So I am not masculine because I'm all woman. I am very I might not be feminine in the way that I dress. I might not be feminine in the way that I carry myself. But when it comes down to taking care of a man, I know how to do that the best of my ability. So I think that masculinity and being with a woman that's a leader, because while my mother was, because my stepdad, he was quiet. He was a kind of beta man, and like something go wrong at the restaurant. My mom was handling that, while my stepdad would be like, "No, Cheryl, it's fine, it's fine." And my mom be like, "Nope, hold on." Because she was making sure that her man got what he needed. And however she needed to be, she was making sure that, because this steak, he ordered it medium. He didn't order it well done. This is not how my man eat the steak. So I'm gonna need y'all to take it back. Because if not for her saying something, then her man ain't gonna have what he need. So I think that masculinity does, a masculine woman, I think, does come from having to not saying be a mom and dad, because like you said, no, I think it does come from absence from a father figure. I think like Donovan was saying in the comments, it turns you into protective mode, because at the end of the day, if you are a leader, you will turn in protective mode with your husband if it got something to do with your kids. So I think that we can't misconstrue, because men don't want masculine women. And men don't want masculine women. Men want, and some men don't want the pretty girls either, because it's totally two different things. So I think that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think that it's
No, I get
separate.
you.
I think that it's separate only because I have been called masculine, but I'm not masculine. But then they'll get to know me and they be like, "No, you really not masculine." Because of, I am still a fun girl. Don't let my haircut fool you. Don't let my Jordans fool you. It's just, I'm just a tomboy. But you can't misconstrue saying that my wife is a leader and then saying my wife is masculine. You know?
Okay. I feel that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just checking. Let me get some of these comments real quick. I know folks checked in real quick on that question. Let's see. IT Nicole in the building. She says some, not all. Let's see. We may not have been checked by the right one to change. But you see what I'm saying? So even in a roundabout way, because I'm peeping game right now, even some of the things that Shantae said, in a roundabout way, y'all are saying that this is the man's fault.
I guess it is.
So even in this comment, Nicole is saying they may not have been checked by the right one. So basically what you're saying is the right man didn't check you, which is why you've taken on masculine traits. I mean, this is some interesting stuff right here. Let me keep going. Let's see. Donovan said masculine women, they step into the protector provider role because of absent men in the home.
There's truth to that.
See, but even again, here, even in this situation, so he's saying the absent men in the home. So, yeah, I got questions.
Keep going.
Let's see, Kenyatta. She said, I think the masculine energy comes from other masculine women's energy. Let's see, I think she gave an extension on this. Let's see the rest of my comments. Some mothers, grandmas, and aunts. Okay, so basically she's saying that women pick up these masculine traits from other masculine women around them. Okay.
Behavior.
Okay. So yeah, learn behavior. Let's see. I think this is Donovan was next. He said, flip side, masculine women do not put the masculine roles down when a man enters her life. Okay. So this is a good point right here, Donovan. So then whose fault is this?
That's her fault.
So hold on. So we got a situation right now where some dudes are turning the corner. Some dudes are saying, all right, you know what? It's time for the fellas to step up. It's time for me to get my stuff together, come in here and really protect and provide that household that I'm supposed to provide. So this man is coming in to this lady, and she still does not want to give up her masculine role. So is that on him because he has not checked her properly? Or is that on her for not preparing herself to be checked?
On him.
What? Oh my God.
Because I remember when he first came around and I was still taking my trash out. He was like, no, I got it. I was like, I'm independent. Girl, bad. I don't know what I was going through. Because I was just so used to it. God. You know what I'm saying? I was just so used to it until he was like, no, you got a man around now. Girl, go sit down. And he checked me about it. And I was like, okay. And I had to think about it like, girl, please forget being independent. I want to be a dependent.
Okay, so he got you, so he checked you, straightened you out. And you saying it, okay, and you saying that was on him because he hadn't did that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, but he checked me all the time on little stuff that I still be doing when it come to, you know. And then when he be like, you need something for this month, and I'd be like, no, I'm okay. He be like, tell me what you need, because I'm not a gold digger like that. I got it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure I got my money for my bills, you know. So whatever he does is extra. But I'd be like, oh, you know, I just be modest with it, and I just need to get out of that because I'm a nice person. I just need to get out of it. But some stuff, yeah, he checks, yeah. So it's the man fault if he don't check you. Back to you.
Okay. All right. Let me keep going. Let's see. Donovan said when women submit in a balanced relationship, masculine women buck all day, every day in all situations. Let's see. Family, friend, co-worker relationships. Okay. So Donovan saying they just out here bucking. Okay. I got that. Let's see. Nicole said leader. Oh, she said that before. That was an earlier comment. Let's see. Okay. Donovan said masculine energy of women stems from a place of fear and defense.
That's a fact. That's the answer to your original question. Your last question that you had, Quay, that's the answer. So when a man comes around and he's like, no, I got it. It's okay. You don't have to worry about it. And she's still trying to hold on to it. A lot of that is fear. I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but I'm just saying that a lot of it is fear. She's like, can I trust this man when the the other man that I trusted or the other men that I trusted proved not to be trustworthy. So now I'm questioning if I can trust this man that's coming into my life. Can I trust him? So it is. Some of that is true. I'm not saying that women should crutch that or should use it as an excuse. I feel like that's where the healing comes in, because it's not that man's fault that you had bad experiences with other men, and you should heal that, fix that, correct that. So I'm not saying that it's the man's fault that that's how she feels, but there is truth to that women can feel like that.
Okay, but see, once again, though, Umar was saying the opposite. He was saying that it is the man's fault. So because of the two guys that she had the interaction with that left her in a state of fear because it didn't work out, according to Umar, those dudes never would have even existed if the man was on point.
I mean, first of all, I get where he's going with that, but
Right.
that's a really hard point to prove. Because we've already established earlier in the show that you never know how a person's going to turn out solely based off their foundation. Like, we cannot say without a shadow of a doubt, right, that every person that comes from a 2-parent home, looks stable home is going to automatically be great. Like, we can't say that without a shadow of a doubt. It does increase the odds that they're going to be a more balanced, responsible human being. It increases the odds, but we can't say without a shadow of a doubt that they are, right?
Okay.
So this one is a little bit more subjective because, I think this one actually depends on the circumstance.
Okay, I got that. I said I'm just hitting them point by point. Let's see. Shout out to Eva Wright in the building. She said, "Hey y'all, what's going on with you? Appreciate you joining us tonight, Eva Wright." Let's see. Donovan also said, "Not all men run from the home. Some are pushed." Oh, I don't know, Donovan. This might be our. I don't know. Let me go.
I think
to this
Donovan
next.
from the comment up before, Donovan, I think, is talking from like a personal space, because the comment before, he said that he was divorced from his wife cheating and he didn't have any kids, but now his girlfriend has kids. So I think that that's what he's talking about, like as far as a man being pushed. But my current boyfriend was in that same situation where he was pushed from the home because his wife cheated as well. So I think that that's where it's coming from. And then, you know what, sometimes if it's not healthy, it's healthier for y'all to break up, even if it wasn't a situation of cheating. If y'all getting into it and cussing each other out and saying all kind of stuff from the past that your kids don't need to be hearing, then I think that it's healthy and it's responsible for both of the parents to choose to split up.
I feel that.
Unfortunately.
Let me go down to Nicole. Let's see. She said, let's see, that is on the women after she is checked. Let's see. She has to self-improve. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. I was feeling something. Thank you, Nicole. All right. Let's see. Eva Wright said exactly, Chloe. Blaming others is not holding yourself accountable. Eva Wright, how you gonna come up in here?
That's all I've been saying, sis. I've been saying this the whole show, sis. Where you was at?
Eva gonna come over here. Don't be on here co-signing with no, we ain't doing that. Shout out to Eva Wright in the building. Shout out to Eva Wright. Let's see. Nicole said, nope, my man at that point. Okay. LOL. All right, IT in the building. Let's see. Shout out to my guy Dre Harris in the building. He said it's definitely a learned behavior before the man even comes in the picture. Huh. Okay, so he's saying it ain't all on these fellas out here. Okay, I get it. Let's see. Donovan said, in America, you need a license to practice law, practice medicine, drive a car, and even fish. How come a license isn't required to have children? Oh,
because the United States want that money. Okay,
that's true.
So they're not gonna stop people from procreating because they want that money.
Same reason they let bipolar people have a gun without checking the mental illness.
They don't care about that.
There's a reason, right? There's a reason for that. All right, listen. Eva Wright said whatever. Oh, my bad, Eva. Y'all was co-signing up here. You're gonna be tag teaming up here. All right. So let me ask this last thing, and we're gonna get the heck up out of here. It's about 10:30.
You ain't gonna play. You gotta play for it. You got to
Which
at
one?
least give us. You have to at least give
the-
us a chance to answer to speak on it.
The second one?
Yes, you got to play it. You have
All
to.
right, well, let me go ahead and do it
You have
then.
to at least
Overtime,
give us
huh?
a chance to respond.
You going into overtime?
I guess so. Let me go ahead and do it. She wanted to get on to it. So let's go and get into it. Topic number 2, ladies, what do you know about being a man? Topic number 2, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Ladies, what do you know about being a man? All right. So these are 2 fellas that's going real viral right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw my man up here. We're gonna have this conversation real quick, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Here I go. If another woman tells me how to be a father, I will open my mouth and flat out scream. You can no more tell me how to be a father than I can tell you how to birth a baby. I don't know nothing about birthing a baby. I don't know nothing about nursing a child. You have to know what you don't know. Shut up being the teacher and just be the wife. How do you know how to be a father? Not only are you not a father, most of you didn't even have a father, and yet you're an expert on how to be. I know this is going to get me on TikTok for sure.
All right. TD Jake's in the building. TD Jake's in the building. What do y'all know about being a father? All right. It's hot out here. Yeah, Dre Harris threw that popcorn up there. It's hot out here. It's hot out here. So yeah, TD had to get that up off his chest. He said he is tired of these ladies. Tired of these ladies out here talking about stuff that they have no idea what they are talking about. So yeah, I know we're gonna touch this one real quick. Let's say then we're gonna get on up out of here. We're gonna touch this real quick. So what y'all think about what TD had to say? Is he right? Is he wrong? Anybody in the comments, drop a comment. Let us know what you think about what he said. I'm gonna go to the panel. Actually, I'm gonna go to Chloe first. You want to go and get on into this? What you thinking on this, Chloe?
I was detected. I just wanted to hear what everybody else had to say. I'm glad somebody else is saying it. Like, I'm just glad that somebody else, and it ties in with tonight's topic. You know what I'm saying? Like, ladies, if we're going to call men to the mat and want them to be held accountable for being men, for what they're doing, what they're not doing, then we can't turn around and tell them how to be what we're saying they need to be. Like, if we're saying they need to be leaders, if we're saying they need to be held accountable, if we're saying all of these things, then we can't also then turn around and say, let me tell you how to do this. Because ladies, we know that when a man tries to tell us what we need to do, we ain't going for that. So we can't be out here telling men how to be men. I think that's part of the problem. We don't know what we're talking about. As women, a lot of us, we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know. I mean, I'll just be honest. I didn't know my husband was my husband. Really, my husband had to pursue me for me to know that he was my husband. Like, just real talk. Like, my husband had to show me what I needed. I didn't necessarily know what I need. We running down these lists talking about the man need to be like this, he need to be like this, he need to be like that, he need to be like this. You cannot tell that man what he need to be. You're not a man. We're holding men accountable, saying men are our leaders, right? So they should want to be held accountable for the things that have gone wrong in the community. Okay. All right, we're doing that, right? So if we're saying that they need to be leaders and need to be held accountable for what went wrong, then we can't turn around and then say, let me tell you how to do it. That's an oxymoron. So he's wrong. You want him to hold that. You want him to be accountable and you want him to be a leader, but then you want to tell him how to do it. Well, if you knew how to do it, then him falling short wouldn't matter because you would have it under control. But ladies have not had it under control. Ladies, we have not had it under control. The men left. Okay, we talked about that. The men left. They left the community for whatever reason, drugs, whatever it was, incarceration, welfare, whatever it was, whatever the reasons was, pick one. They left. And we were supposed to be holding it down. We failed. Because the truth of the matter is because we cannot hold that position. where we were not built to hold that position. So if we were not built to hold that position, it's just not the position we're supposed to play. That doesn't mean that we didn't go in there and do our best. Sure, we did. Absolutely, we did. But we were not built to hold that position. That's why we fell short. We have to own that part. The part about we tried to take it all on our shoulders and we fell short. We got to own that part. So we took it on our shoulders. We fell short. Now we want to turn around. Now that the men are showing up saying, okay, well, what's going on? Why is like this? What? Now we want to say, well, it's your fault. And let me tell you how to fix it. We couldn't do it when we had it. We got to pass the ball, but I throw the ball back. We had the ball. We couldn't do it. So I'm just like, I'm glad that, I don't listen to TD Jakes. I don't really follow him, but I'm glad that with his platform being as large as it is, that he is speaking on subjects like this because they need to be talked about. They need to be addressed.
That's facts. That's facts. You want to say something, Shantae?
I agree. First, before I say what I got to say, do you think that women that have grown up around good men, can they teach little boys the same thing that good men taught them? So, and in turn, they are kind of mocking, because I don't think that a woman can teach a man how to be a man.
Not at all.
A man, but can a woman install the things that maybe her grandfather installed in her or her father installed in her? She can't.
No, because the perspective is not the same.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the difference, right? You can learn some good things from your grandfather, right? So your grandfather may be able to tell you, do A, B, and C, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he can't communicate the risk that comes along with that.
Oh yeah.
He can't communicate the pressure that comes along with taking care of a family and providing and protecting for a family. Like, he can't communicate that part, because you got to live that part. That's like purely experience. Like, see, another man can try to relay that to another man, and a man can understand that. But see, that can't come from a woman, because see, she doesn't live that. Yeah, she don't live that part. She don't live the nights where the brothers is, like they say, the brother's sitting out in the car. He got to sit out in the car for about an hour before he come in the house. She's not going to understand that. Your granddaddy understand that. Your granddaddy can relay that down to you in your journey, and then you'll be able to make that connection. But see, that doesn't work that way. So let's say you can tell somebody something, but the experience is not going to be the same. Yes, yeah. So no, at the end of the day, that needs to come from another man. Another man understands that and can relay that to another young man coming up behind them. Let's see. Dre Harris responded to, he said, no, because experience teaches. And there you go. And the angle is different.
Okay.
Yep. The perspective is different. So me and Dre saying the same thing.
Yeah, because I can never tell you what it is to be a black man. I sure can't tell you what it is to be a black father, if I can't even tell you what it is to be a black man. But that was my question. But I wanted to say was, no, we can't. And I think it's kind of vice versa too, not for the single fathers. Like some stuff, I got older step kids, and I call them my step kids already, and I be telling them what to do. But I have older step kids, and their mom doesn't teach them stuff. But I find myself teaching them. But why should I have to teach them? Why? How come if you saw your ex-wife wasn't teaching your kids these things? Just for an example, we're out in a restaurant. They hold their spoon and fork like this, so they be eating like this.
Right.
It's so embarrassing. Like, I had to show them, but my dad showed me and my mom showed me how to hold a knife and the fork, especially when you in public.
Right.
So this had to be done before I came around. I only been around, a little over a year. These kids, 15 and 16 and 14. Why they in here eating like barbarians?
Right, I
So
got you.
why you didn't teach them that? Because you see, the mama wasn't teaching, you know. So men can't teach kids etiquette. What the woman, I guess the woman's supposed to be teaching, but they can't even teach them etiquette. And then he had a daughter. He was a single father for a daughter, and he said it was hard for him to raise her. All he knew how to raise her was to teach her about guys and how guys protect her from guys and teach her about how they get down and stuff like that. But as far as how you feeling during your cycle, as far as what's going on through your body and stuff like that, a man can't teach a woman that.
Right.
You know, so it's vice versa. And I can't believe these women be out here thinking that they can actually, now don't get me wrong, I could teach somebody something because we're gonna learn from each other anyway. So, but you know, as far as, and if you don't know nothing about nothing, like I like cars, he a AAA. He don't want to change the tire. He want to call AAA. I don't like that. I change the tire. So if you're a AAA guy, you really not teaching your kids how to change a tire because you already a AAA. You know, so if I'm a hands-on and I can come around and I know how to do something and I teach your kids something, that's just teaching them something that I know that maybe my dad might have taught me, but I'm not trying to teach you how to be a father. I'm not trying to teach these boys how to be men. You know what I mean? But I can offer the things that I have learned from the men in my life if you needed it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, like I said, and that's not an issue, and that's why I said I think TD was dead on with that. Right, because I said we don't even hear, you know, young ladies out here, you know, talking about they need a real man, and it's like, what does that even really mean? Yeah, do you even know what a real man is? Like, how do you even gauge what a real man is, right? So I said I think that's the point that TD was making. It's like at the end of the day, we have to get back to our natural positions. Yeah, that's really where the problem is. We're out of our natural positions. We off trying to do each other stuff. The men out here trying to do what the ladies do. The ladies trying to do what the men do, all in the name of equality and all this other nonsense we try to convince ourselves of. But we out of place. And we out of order. Like, that's really what it is. We out of order. Yep. Can't no woman tell no man how to be no father. She can't tell him how to be no husband either. Yeah, but can't no man tell no woman how to be no wife and how to be no mother. It ain't happening.
Right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we just got to get out here and just
Stop the cap.
Because that's really what it is. We got to stop capping. Yeah, but this the other thing that I'll add. What was that, Vince? What'd he say? Sorry, baby was crying. Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you, brother. The other thing I'll add, let's say, then we'll get ready to take some closing and get up out of here unless y'all got something else y'all want to say. The other thing I'll add is some of y'all really tripping out here trying to tell some man what he's supposed to be doing and you ain't on point.
You better please.
Let me just put that out here. And the same with these fellas. Some of y'all out here trying to tell these ladies what they need to be doing, and you ain't on point either. Yeah, we got to cut this mess out. Yeah, we got to cut this mess out. There's all type of dysfunctional situations. Yeah, I'm going to call some of this mess out. Some of these ladies out here, all these, you know, different kids and all of this stuff trying to tell a man what he's supposed to be doing. You know, some of these dudes out here impregnating all these different women, ain't being responsible, yet you want to try to tell these women what they supposed to be doing. It's like, man, everybody sit down and shut up somewhere.
Okay. Period.
Everybody out of whack, trying to tell somebody else how they going wrong. It's like, no, you just be quiet and get your stuff together.
Period.
Yeah, we be tripping out here, man. Y'all done got me started, man. Y'all done got
So
me
that's
started.
right. Turned into a preacher.
Yeah, it got me started, man. Donovan said deflection. Yeah, it's a lot of that going on too, Donovan. It's a lot of that going on too. Well, we got to get the heck up out of here, man. It's about 11:15. Let me take some closing so we can get up out of here. I'm gonna go to Chloe first, Shantae, then we're gonna get out of here. Chloe, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed y'all. You know, we had a time tonight. I really enjoyed y'all, as always. Anybody who just tuned into the show, definitely watch the replay because this one was really good. Like it was really, they're all good, but this one was really good because we got a chance to really break down what's going on in the community between men and women, and really talk about ownership, who should own, and accountability, and really, I really grilled the guys earlier in the show. So ladies, you definitely go back and watch the first half of the show, because I really grilled the guys, because I did that because we need to have these open, honest, genuine conversations. That's the only way we're actually going to be able to make any progress, like have any change. Like, we have to have these conversations honestly and openly. The men and women on this panel, we represent the voice of the people in the community. That does not necessarily mean we all experience all of these things we're talking about. It doesn't mean that we are the actual representative of the people who are having these issues that we're talking about. But we are speaking to the mindsets. We do speak to the positions and the perspectives of the people in the community, and we have to speak in general terms, because obviously we don't know every single human being on the planet. So do keep that in mind. Like, this stuff is always directed at this specific person. It's more so directed at the perspective and the mindset, because that's all we can really speak to. And as far as this topic is concerned, I think we just got to get back to showing each other a little bit of grace, because at the end of the day, we both have steered the ship in the wrong direction. When women were in control of the ship, it went left. When men were in control of the ship, it went left. And I think that's because we're not understanding that we are both supposed to be doing this together. We're supposed to be a captain meets his first mate. Like, we cannot do this individually. We can't do this separately. Yes, women, we do need men. Women are not disposable. Like, this is the problem. So if we get back to understanding how important we are to each other, then we can start to repair the rift between us, so we can get back to rebuilding our community.
Facts. Shantae, what you want to say before we get out of here?
Well, first and foremost, how many lashes we giving Dr. Umar? Because he needs some lashes tonight. He need his own lashes. He ain't gonna get a lot, but he need a couple. I know that's right. Shoot. But I definitely enjoyed the show. This was good. I didn't even think I was gonna have something to say on it. When I seen the topic, I was like, oh, this is for the men's. But this was definitely and be hitting home. I'm the ratchet one on the show. This stuff be, it be personal for me, and I'm glad that I can share it, because I really don't care what nobody think, because I'm proud of myself, whatever I have accomplished. And I think that men, you just need to take accountability. And then if you don't know how to take accountability, you can take accountability. Like, if you know you got a good homeboy and his homeboy got a good wife and they kids is good, send them over there to their house so they can learn something. You don't have to say nothing to your homeboy like, hey, homeboy, I need help with my kid. Just secretly like, hey, what y'all doing? Can such and such come over? We gonna come over. Maybe we could shoot the stuff, play a little spades while they over there playing, so that child can get some morals, and they can see a married couple, or they can see a household, or they can see how the kids got their own room and their own stuff, and you know what I mean? So even if you cannot provide that for your kids, if you have a friend or close family member that can provide that, put them around there, because take a village, so right. I think that men, they just need to put their pride aside, and if you don't know how to put your pride aside or your ego aside, find another way, but at the end of the day, you're only cheating your child. You're only cheating your child by having a big ego or not, so yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, black men of this community, we just need to hold ourselves accountable and understand that if you feel in this one puzzle piece, or it's like a middle puzzle piece, you feel in that one puzzle piece, all four of the pieces come together, all four corners of the puzzle come together, so nice. That's just all. I enjoyed y'all.
No doubt. We appreciate you as always. Let me say this real quick. You just said something that I never considered. You said that you didn't know if you was gonna have anything to say on the show because you thought this topic was for the men. So let me just say this real quick. This not at you, Shantae, but I didn't consider that. For the people that are watching, our topics or our discussions are for everybody. Topics that are focused on the men or focused in the direction of men still involve women. And it goes, goes the same way, as far as our topics that are focused at the women. They still involve men because a lot of our topics revolve around relationships, right? So yeah, for anybody who's ever thought that, regardless of what the topic is, the discussion is for men and women. So we want you guys to come out for all the discussions so we can hash these things out, because as we go through these conversations, we always find that there's accountability on both sides. There's responsibility on both sides. So if we're doing a topic around men and then the ladies disappear, they're going to miss their piece. Yeah, if we're doing a topic around women and the fellas disappear, they're going to miss their piece. Yeah, so we need the ladies and the men to be involved on all the topics, because typically these are all collective accountability issues. Yeah, so I'm glad you said that, Shantae. I didn't consider that. But if folks are looking at it like that, then let's say we got to, I want to try to get folks to switch that mindset. We need men and women to come to all these conversations because there's always two sides. Donovan said topics require balance. No, that's facts. Yeah, these are always conversations that need the women and the men to participate, so that we can get to resolution. But I'm gonna say this real quick, then we get out of here. We touched or Chloe asked for solutions earlier. Comments coming in. Let's see, Kenyatta said because we can learn something from all topics. Facts. So yeah, I don't want everybody to disappear because they see a male-led title, because we see that. So yeah, let's say we definitely want y'all to come to all of these conversations. We want to see y'all every Wednesday. Let me keep it real. We want to see y'all every Wednesday. But let me say this and then we get up out of here. So I know earlier Chloe asked for solutions and she asked for accountability from the men. So I'm gonna say this right now, just based around that request. When I said this earlier, fellas, the solution is for you to focus on yourself and get yourself together first. That's the first solution, and we gotta own that. Yep, and fellas are not doing that. It's a lot of fellas out here not getting themselves together. They ain't on point, but they still think they the man out here. So they still entertaining these women playing around, and they not on point. So fellas, you got to get yourself together. Excuse that noise. That's this laptop over here. You got to get yourself together first. That's just real. We ain't getting around that. I can't even shut this off. The second thing is when it comes to this sex, fellas, kill the sex. Yep, kill the sex. Yep, no more sex till marriage. That's the only way. Kill the sex.
You asking the men to do that?
I am. I can't shut this thing up, but that's the only way. Kill the sex.
Okay. Shantae, you look like you sweating a little bit too.
That's like asking them to stop breathing.
I don't know.
What?
I agree.
Look, Dre about to lose his breath right now. He's talking about some what?
So wait, hold on. Why is that the response? Why is that the response? What are we thinking? Let me go and hear this. What you thinking, Dre? Let me hear this.
He said he missed it. You gotta get a context.
He said what happened?
Give me a sec. I'm trying to shut this. It's like I can't shut the freaking thing.
So earlier in the show, I asked for solutions. I said, if you've come to the understanding that a lot of the breakdown of what has happened between the male-female relationships in the Black community are, a man's fault. If men are going to accept their portion of the responsibility and accountability, then what does that look like? What do we do? What's the solution? So you're accepting the part that men played in the degradation of the relationships in the Black community. aka the Black community in itself, because the backbone of the Black community are our families and our relationships, then I asked the men to talk about what that looks like. What does accountability look like? What do we need to do? And we deduced that at the heart of the root of the problem is sex. We out here having sex with the wrong people. We having it too soon. We're not being responsible. And so if that's the case, then you said what, Clay?
Kill the sex. Just kill it. Yep, kill it until you're married. Kill it until you're married.
And focus on your purpose.
And focus on your purpose. Listen, I'm directing that directly at the men. Directly at the men. What's happening in these comments? Is there an AA group out there for shutting down sex? Man.
See?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's called Pick Up Your Bible.
Thank you, men, for keeping it real too.
Wait a minute. So
because it's not realistic to them. It's not realistic to them. You know, at the end of the day, especially if you're dating with intentions.
If you're dating with intentions, it should be easier.
I know, but yeah, but that's like telling Donovan and Kenyatta to don't do nothing. They dating with intentions.
No, we're not making it personal. We're not making it personal. We ain't doing that.
I'm just saying, but I'm dating with intentions too. I'm in the same situation that they are. I'm dating with intentions too. Dating the one guy with intentions.
So wait. Are y'all? What am I hearing right now? So y'all asked for the solution. I gave y'all the solution. Are y'all trying to now say we don't want to do that?
Self-control.
We don't want to do that.
Y'all don't have enough self-control and enough discipline.
Then that mean I'm going celibate, because I would have been. We've been together a little over a year. That mean I wouldn't have had sex for a little. Well, it's been longer than that because I wasn't having sex before he came around. See, that's the thing. I didn't have sex until I got into a relationship. Now I will say that. But once I got into a relationship, yeah, we just ain't married, but we are dating with intentions. But I would have had to hold out, and then I think he fine, and we be going out having fun and coming home together. And so what we
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let.
That's not a real cat, y'all.
I'm gonna let somebody.
That's suspicious.
I'm gonna let somebody who don't have the same perspective that I have answer this question, because I told y'all earlier I'm coming from a spiritual perspective. So you know what I think? I think about if I was answering this question for God, because we all got to stand before him when we leave here, and he say, why you ain't want to stop? And I say, well, you know what, God, I'm not in my 20s no more. I was in my 30s and this, that, and we've known each other forever. And you know, it's been a year, and you know, I ain't had no sex. And y'all deal with that. Y'all deal with that. Y'all had that conversation. Y'all deal with that.
I feel like I'm catching some. I feel like I'm catching some heat off of my solution. What's going on?
I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to be standing in front of the Lord talking about stuff. We'll see what Lord would have happened was because he was fine, Lord. I mean, you seen him. I don't want to do that. So y'all go ahead on and do your thing. I'm gonna have to pull out of this one.
Not you seen him.
Can't make this shit up.
Over a year.
Oh man, y'all. I feel like y'all bucking me right now.
I'm not the one that gets to judge. I'm just simply saying this is my perspective.
Look, everybody was like, yeah, Quay. As soon as you said that, they was like, wait, what? Man, who?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Oh man.
Y'all heard it.
Man, we got to get up out of here. Man. Shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. Shout out to Nicole in the building, Donovan in the building, Dre Harris in the building checking in, Eva Wright in the building checking in. Shout out to my guy Vince on the panel. Shout out to Kenyatta. I think that was everybody. Yeah, I think that's everybody in the comments. Man, like I said, shout out to my panel as well. Chloe, Shantae in the building. Shout out, let's say once again, shout out to my guy Vince. I know he had to hop off. Dre say anything possible, I guess. Man, y'all don't sound too confident. Man, this is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Every Wednesday night, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. So definitely like, share, and subscribe. Let's say everybody watching us right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button for us. Hit that share button as well. Share out the show. Man, we here every Wednesday night. But with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.